Hi, this is Tom Edmond. I've had a number of questions about how do you create a zip folder, which you need to do and submit to the Dropbox. So I thought I'd put a little demo together to show you how to do that. This is a case where showing, I think, is a much more efficient thing to do than telling. So you should see on my desktop a little folder called Stats2. I expect that many of you have somewhere in your directory structure a folder with a similar name to contain your weekly work. And I have already put in it 3 files that need to be zipped. Okay, the 3 files are an output file that is an SPS viewer file. SPS uses the same term for viewer and output. That's one of the files you'll have to do almost every week. The second file you'll have to do almost every week is the syntax file. In this case, SPS means SPSS, syntax file. And then every week there's going to be a third file. For week 2, it's a data file. More often than not, it's going to need to be an MS Word file, often with a table or some other additional information that's hard to put in a discussion post. So how do you zip these? Pretty straightforward. You select all the files you want to zip together. I've just swept over them. You right click on it and you get the WinZip. You get the operating system options, and it should show you WinZip. It should be already included if you have WinZip installed. And then you get a submenu, and you can now add the files to a folder. You can actually choose either of these, but I like to just use the second one, add to Stats2. It's picking the name Stats2 because that's the folder where your files are. So I'm going to pick Stats2, and WinZip is going to go off and do some things for us. Okay. Now, if you're using the demo version of WinZip, you might not see this. Instead, you'll see a splash screen that encourages to buy a copy. And even if you bought a copy, this is optional, but I kind of like to look at it because I'm always kind of interested in how much space did I save. But at any rate, we say OK, it's done its work, and we now go back to the Stats2 folder, and we see that there is a zip folder called Stats2. You're just about ready to go now. You're just about ready to submit this. There's one last thing to do, and that's that you should name it, okay, appropriately, so I know who it's from. Okay, as you can see, I use the Sally Ride convention. You're probably familiar with that because a lot of Walden classes use it, and it basically is your last name, initial, Ride, S, and then an identification of the assignment, in this case, week 2. Okay, so you're just about done. Now, it never hurts. It's always a good idea, in fact, to check and make sure everything looks okay. There's a simple way to do that. If you bring your cursor over it and hover over it, you are likely to see what the contents of that file are. This is certainly the case if you're using Windows 7. I think you'd get the same thing in Vista. You can also double click it, and WinZip will reopen and show you what the files are. Let me put that down so you can see it. And here are the files. Here are our 3 files: our save file, our SPS syntax file, and our viewer file. The icons may not be what you look like, and you may wonder, why is there a size of 0? Well, that's just because I created a special little file for demo purposes. It doesn't have any content, so it shows 0. At any rate, you're done. You're ready to submit this file to the Dropbox. It's labeled, it's got its contents, it's ready to go. I hope that helps. If you have questions, submit them to the discussion area, and I'm sure they'll be answered there by me or by someone else. Good luck. Thanks.